Why Humans Fear Silence. Dark Truth. Do you remember the last time you experienced complete silence? Not just a quiet room, not the kind where there's still a fan humming or distant traffic in the background. I mean true silence. The kind where it feels like the world itself has stopped, like something has been switched off. Most people say they want that kind of peace. But the truth is, when it finally happens, they don't last very long. Let me tell you a story. A man once decided he needed to disappear for a while. Life had become too loud. Constant notifications, endless conversations, people everywhere. Even when he was alone, he wasn't really alone. There was always something filling the space, so he made a decision. He rented a small old cabin deep in the woods. No signal, no internet, no nearby houses. Just miles of trees and silence. Exactly what he thought he needed. The first day felt perfect. The air was cleaner. The sky looked clearer. Even his thoughts felt lighter. He spent the afternoon walking around, listening to the crunch of leaves under his feet, the occasional rustle of branches. Natural sounds. Comforting sounds, proof that the world was still alive. But when night came, something changed. He lay in bed, staring into the darkness, waiting to fall asleep. That's when he noticed it. The sounds were gone. Not quieter, not distant, gone. No wind brushing against the trees. No insects chirping. No owls calling in the distance. Nothing, just silence. At first he smiled. This is what I wanted, he thought. Peace, stillness. But after a few minutes his smile faded, because the silence didn't feel peaceful. It felt wrong. Have you ever felt that? That moment when everything becomes so quiet that your brain starts questioning it? He turned onto his side, pulling the blanket closer. "Relax," he whispered to himself. But his voice didn't sound normal. It sounded too loud, like it didn't belong there. And worse, it didn't echo. It didn't carry. It just disappeared, as if the silence swallowed it. He stopped talking after that, because suddenly making noise felt like a mistake. Minutes passed, or maybe longer. Time started to blur, and then he heard it. A sound, soft, almost nothing, a faint tapping. He held his breath, listening. Was that real, or was his mind trying to fill the emptiness? The tapping came again. Uneven, slow, deliberate. It didn't sound like something natural, not like branches hitting the wall, not like wood settling. It felt intentional. He sat up slowly, his eyes adjusting to the darkness. "Hello?" he said, barely above a whisper. The tapping stopped. Instantly, the silence returned, heavier than before. And that's when something inside him shifted, because now he knew. It wasn't random. It reacted. He swung his legs off the bed, standing carefully. Every movement felt too loud, too noticeable, like he was being watched. He didn't know why he felt that way, but he couldn't shake it. Have you ever had that feeling? That strange awareness, when you just know you're not alone, even though you have no proof? He walked slowly across the room, his eyes scanning the shadows. The cabin was small. There was nowhere to hide, nowhere for anyone to be. And yet, the feeling stayed. He reached the window and looked outside. Darkness, endless, thick darkness, but something was off. The trees were completely still, not swaying, not moving. It was like the entire forest had frozen, like time itself had paused. He stepped back from the window, and then the tapping returned. Louder, closer. He turned around quickly, trying to locate it. Where was it coming from? The walls, the floor, the ceiling? Tap. Directly above him, he looked up, and the moment he did, it stopped again. Total silence. Now his heart was racing, because it wasn't just noise anymore. It was something else.
Something that knew exactly when to start and when to stop. Something that responded to him. He took a step backward, then another, trying to create distance from whatever was above him. But the silence followed, thick, heavy. "Who's there?" he asked. This time his voice trembled, and for a moment, nothing happened. No sound, no movement, just silence. But then, something changed, not around him. Inside him, that feeling, that presence. It got stronger, closer, like someone standing just inches away, breathing, waiting. He didn't want to turn around, but something inside him told him he wasn't facing the right direction. Slowly, very slowly, he turned his head. Nothing. The room was empty, exactly as it should be. But the feeling didn't go away. If anything, it grew stronger, because now it felt like whatever was there was right behind him. He froze. Every instinct in his body screamed at him not to move, not to react, not to acknowledge it. Because sometimes acknowledging something makes it real. Seconds passed, or maybe minutes. He couldn't tell. And then it happened. The silence broke. Not with a loud noise, not with a crash, but with something far worse. A whisper, so close to his ear. It felt like breath, soft, barely there, but clear enough. It said his name. His entire body locked. He stopped breathing, stopped thinking, because that wasn't possible. No one else was there. No one knew he was here. So how did something just speak? He didn't move, didn't turn, didn't even blink, because deep down, he understood something terrifying. If he turned around, he might see it. And if he saw it, it would mean it was real. And if it was real, then he was no longer alone in that cabin. The silence returned, but now it wasn't empty. It felt alive, aware, patient, waiting for him to do anything. But he stayed still because he didn't know what would happen if he moved. Minutes passed. The feeling didn't go away. It stayed there, right behind him. And then the tapping came back, but this time it wasn't above him. It wasn't across the room. It wasn't far away. It was right behind his head. Tap. He flinched, just slightly, and instantly the tapping stopped, as if it was noticed, as if it was testing him, playing with him. He shut his eyes tightly, trying to convince himself it wasn't real, that it was just his imagination, just the silence playing tricks on him. But then, something cold brushed against the back of his neck. Not air, not wind, something deliberate. He opened his eyes slowly. His heart was pounding so loud, he thought it might break the silence. And in that moment, he realized something. The silence wasn't hiding the sound. It was hiding it, because whatever was in that cabin didn't need to make noise. It was already close enough to touch him, close enough to whisper, close enough to hear every breath he took. And maybe it had been there the entire time, from the moment the forest went quiet, watching, listening, waiting for him to finally notice. So let me ask you something. If you were standing there in complete silence and you felt something right behind you, something breathing, something waiting, would you turn around, or would you stay perfectly still, pretending, hoping that if you don't acknowledge it, it might just disappear? Because the truth is, silence isn't empty. It never was. Sometimes, it's just the moment when everything else stops, so you can finally hear what was always there. And the real question is, when that moment comes, will you be ready to listen, or will you wish you never noticed the silence at all? Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.